was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. She called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need your soul. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I think everything is done great. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Everybody.
Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard.
Hello, everybody. And welcome to my first ever live stream that's going public. Great to see you here, and I see many familiar names in the comments. Great. I'll try to talk my fear away before I can play or sing something. The intro song you heard was actually my test to see if YouTube's gonna maybe block me or something, because this is actually my own CD with Sam Mitchell that was released in 1996. But I wasn't sure about this with the royalties, with the protection over songs, and I don't know. I just wanted to test it if it's gonna go. Right. So, live streaming Blue Mondays with Homesick Mac. The whole idea of this is to help people be accountable when it comes to guitar playing, to help some people I know, and maybe many of you who I don't know, have never met, and to see if we can provide you with some really, really good accompaniment for your own practicing. And yeah, let's see. Great. So this is going to be approximately an hour of me playing songs, maybe talking about some influential artists from the early blues days. I'm going to be playing some backup for you guys. Then I'm going to be presenting a lick of the week, which is going to be fun, because that's where the slide guitar comes in. So I don't want to scare people away directly in the beginning playing slide. So I'm going to start off with an intro song, with a welcome song. But if you can see my my t-shirt here, this guy, it's Louisiana Red, or Iverson Minter, that his real name was. He was the prodigy of Muddy Waters. He called himself the water boy to Muddy Waters. He grew up listening to Muddy, and later on he got to know Muddy Waters, and even more later on he became a fantastic blues artist whom I met, and I spent some time with him both on stage and off stage and learned a lot. So yeah, Louisiana Red, this is the guy, and I met him in 1988 for the first time. And one of the songs that I really, really loved that he played was called the Gasline Blues. It's about the crisis in the 20s, that he wanted to try to buy gasoline, but he just couldn't make it. So here's a song, the intro song for this first ever live stream Blue Monday with a song by Louisiana Red, the Gasline Blues. Well, tell you now, people, you ain't heard the latest news. Cause you're in a bad situation. You got the Gasline Blues. You got the Gasline Blues. You got the Gasline Blues. Well, now you can't win or lose, I tell you. Everybody got the Gasline Blues. Well, I tell you, my baby woke me up 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, what do you think? When I got down there, boys, I could hardly get to the gas tank. I got the Gasline Blues. I got the Gasline Blues. Well, now you can't win or lose, I'll tell you. Everybody got the Gasline Blues. Oh, come on, Red. This country's done gone, people, on a really bad, bad course. Sooner or later, everybody gonna get the wagon and the horse. They got the Gasline Blues. They got the Gasline Blues. Well, now you can't win or lose, I tell you. Everybody got the Gasline Blues. Gasline Blues with Louisiana Red. He's got loads of great songs, and he played slide as well. And he's one of those people who really could nail how to play slide the same way Muddy Waters did. And that wasn't easy. And actually, I saw the guy playing that live. And I'll give you just a glimpse of that. This was a melody of Muddy Waters' signature introduction to the slow blues, let's say, in standard tuning in A. He started with this. Let's see if that goes into the camera angle. Good. And then he would start off and all that. So this is one of the licks that we are definitely going to cover in maybe another live stream where Muddy Waters could be the artist that we're going to highlight, but not today. So today we're doing this section of playing the backup for you guys. So maybe some of you already played along with this Gasline Blues that I played. So the first backup song is going to be around 3-4 minutes, whatever. It's going to be a slow blues in E. And you can either follow along, play the backup with me. Maybe you can play a solo on top of it. Maybe you want to sing your own verses or something. Let's just do it. So here we come with the guitar backups. I'll start off with an intro lick, and then I'll go into the blues shuffle and the 12-bar blues in E. So well done, if I can say it like that, just out in the air. I hope you were playing with me, and if not this first time, maybe you'll just follow along later on. That's great. So, all right, I'm watching the comments here. Thanks so much for coming. It's amazing. I really love seeing every one of you here. That's fantastic. And I see people from all over the world, which is also amazing. I see people from Canada, States, Serbia, I think. Yeah, that's great. All right, so this was a blues backup in E, slow blues in E. And I'm going to do a very similar thing, to do something in A. So the difference between E and A is not only in, of course, the chord shapes and all that, because A, you have it in, if your key is A as well. But the shapes that you play in E and the shapes that you play in A as a key of the song are different, because with A you have this deep basses at the same time when you can have very high licks up on the neck. So let me just play a short version of a slow blues in A, and all right, so we start off with a turnaround. Take it down. One more. All right. Yeah, this is cool. Mississippi Blues, says my buddy Milovan. Yeah, it's actually, this slow accompaniment in A is very much influenced by Mississippi Blues. That was made by Willie Brown in the 20s, I think 1928 or something. I mean, you don't want to know how old songs I'm listening to. And yeah, that's the way it is. I love that kind of stuff. So just to show you a little bit of everything that I'm going to be doing during these live streams in the future, it's going to be blues, blues shuffle, slow blues, fast shuffle. We're going to be doing some maybe jazzier licks as well. And I'm also be addressing some fingerpicking, which is this technique. Might be new to some of you, and especially to those of you who are maybe drummers. But this is very similar to the drums. So if you're playing the drums, you know this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this, the 2 and the 4 are usually the snare drum. So fingerpicking is based on this. Fourth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And then you add in between those notes with the thumb, you add the travel strings. I can't talk while I'm playing. Okay. And that's where the music starts. These notes are open, they're all ringing. But if you dampen the strings behind the saddle with my picking hand like this, play a little bit more sparingly, so to say, then you're going to get some really nice dynamic stuff. Like this. Okay, let's do Kansas City Blues. Walking down Main Street, going down Beale, looking for the woman they call Lucille. She done moved to Kansas City. She done moved to Kansas City. She gonna move, honey, where they won't lie you. Now Mississippi River, so long, deep and wide. The woman I've been loving, she's on the other side. She done moved to Kansas City. She done moved to Kansas City. She gonna move, honey, where they won't lie you. I'll play a long time, man. Play one more time. So walking down the streets of the lonesome land, trying to put all the nice-looking women under my command. I'm going to move to Kansas City. I'm going to move. I'm going to move, honey, where we won't lie you. I'm going to move, honey, where they won't lie you. So that wasn't planned, but that was a little bit about fingerpicking. So there are loads of songs that follow the same pattern. So I'm going to be doing this definitely during the Blue Monday live streams. There are some folk blues songs from the 50s, some songs that are more considered as country music than blues, but I'm not that picky. Of course I'm not picky. This is great. So I think it's a time to go to the lick of the week. One of my absolute favorite artists of all times when it comes to slide playing is Mr. Hudson Whitaker, or Tampa Red, as he's more known in the blues circles. Tampa Red started playing in, I guess, 20s, 30s, and recorded loads of tracks for various labels. And he was one of the most hired accompanists of that time. So he and Lonnie Johnson, if you've ever heard of him, were backing up loads of very known singers. They were playing with Ma Rainey, with Bessie Smith, with Victoria Spivey, lots of them. And Tampa Red was a great composer as well. And he played this kind of a guitar, which is a picture from the 50s, I think 40s, 50s, when they just came out with electric guitars, like actually just hollow body acoustics with a pickup in it. And then he played this kind of guitar, which is a metal body guitar, tricone, Style 1 tricone by National. And he popularized this guitar tremendously in those days. So he had a very distinct sound, and I actually have that guitar. If you look at the, what's that, this part behind me, you see that metal guitar there, and that's also coming into use very soon. Maybe not this evening, I don't know, we'll see. But that has a very metallic and very distinct sound. It's incredible. But the thing I'm going to show you today as a lick of the week is something that's based on a melody that's played on the first and the second strings. And basically, okay, I've been playing slide for 35, maybe 40 years, and of course I don't find it difficult, but teaching slide guitar for many years, I also discovered the less strings you have included in a lick, the easier it is to understand and to learn how to play it. And if you don't run around the neck too much, if you have a kind of locked in area where you have your melody, then it's easier to follow and easier to learn how to play. One of the advantages of this live stream form is that this stays forever. For good and bad, I don't know. But you're going to be able to come back to this, and maybe I'll do some timestamps or just show you the parts which are important to maybe listen to and maybe loop them in YouTube so we can see the lick several times and then learn it that way. Because if you learn this lick that I'm going to show you now, it's going to be a lick that you can use in many, many songs. And it can be in slow blues, in fast blues, it doesn't matter. So the melody on the slide goes like this, and we're in a standard tuning. Further on, we're going to be working with open D, open G, and some of these other combinations of open tunings, but mainly I'll be in open D or open G. So the difference between playing in open tuning and a standard tuning, that in the open tuning you have the chord already without fretting anything on the guitar neck. So this is the main disadvantage of playing slide in standard tuning, because you have to do some things like either or. Okay, I'm going to play the chord, but then I'm going to jump on slide. At the same time, this is a very common technique that Tampa Red used even on the guitar with open tuning. I guess I'm confusing some here. I apologize, but I'll show you. So here's the melody. And then so this melody takes up the whole 12-bar blues. It's very slow. You have plenty of time to dampen the strings you don't want to use. You have plenty of time to vibrate the notes. And my usual tip to anybody who's starting playing the slide is to learn how to vibrate and to control that tone. Because if I play the open first string, this is this note, right? But the same note can be taken on the second string, but on a 5th fret. So that way, I can make music out of that note, because you can vibrate it. You can make it ring longer, shorter, and there are 2 techniques involved here. Usually beginners skip over this part and they just play like this. then everything is ringing. It's ringing behind the slide, it's ringing where you're taking the note, and sometimes the first string is also audible. So if you want to clean a note on that 5th fret, you need to dampen first behind the slide. So here's a key. Put the slide on the 2nd string and all the way down almost to the edge of the upper edge of the slide. This doesn't matter what kind of a slide you have, metal, glass, plexiglass, ceramic slide, whatever, it doesn't matter. My general tip when you play a slide is always to go as much down as you can, because if you play like this, with this part of the slide, then you have this upper part up there where they can, I mean, you can have some trouble there with hitting some strings you don't want to have in that particular lick. So it's always a good tip to go as much down as you want. So if I play this first lick, I'm applying this technique that I'm going down with the slide, and I'm also angling it. I'm angling from the 2nd string. It's almost a 45 degrees angle here between the frets and the neck, right? That's one. That way, I'm sure I'm not going to be hitting the 2nd string at all, and I'm dampening the 2nd string as well with my index finger here in the back. So I'm not pressing down, I'm just dampening it. Very, very light touch here. So, and the reason why it's quiet around this note is that I'm first damping here behind the slide with my fretting hand, and then with my picking hand. If I only need that note, then I might even use the thumb on the 3rd string just to make sure. So I'm double damping the 3rd string, both here and here. Then I pick the 2nd string, vibrate, and you see my ring finger here, middle finger, resting on the 1st string, also to dampen it. The king of this technique is Rycooter. If you watch Rycooter playing, especially electric guitar, because that's a beast. If you don't dampen the strings on an electric guitar, everything's going to ring, but he's also a master on acoustic as well. So he's the one that I actually learned how to do this from by watching him on television on old VHS tapes that I bought from the States. I just saw his right hand acting almost like a spider. Like all fingers were there all the time, just dampening the strings he didn't want to pick, and then just picking the right string at the right moment. So that was a great school. So this note is here, 5th fret, 2nd string. If I use my thumb to play the bass note, then I cannot dampen the 3rd string anymore. So I do like this. And I just make sure that this slide is not going up to the 3rd string, because in that case I'd get this. So. Okay, to put this lick, the whole melody, into some context, and I'll try to play a little bit of the backup as well. And so on and so on. So Tampa Red has this melody also as an instrumental on his songs, on his records from the 30s, 40s. So sometimes a song is called something, sometimes it's called Things About Coming My Way, sometimes it's called It Hurts Me Too. Basically, very similar notes are in this lick. So maybe you've noticed that the second time I play the melody, I put some more life into it. It was like I was more gliding in between the notes, and that's the beauty of slide. You can imitate the human voice by doing like a. So with only one picking of the string, so there are many variations of this melody that can be played by picking less or picking more with the right hand and gliding with the slide in between notes. So if I would show anybody a good exercise for, okay, how could I learn how to play slide from the beginning? I've never played slide, so how do I do? Don't play scales. It's easy to just do. Yeah, right, fine. Find a melody that's easy enough, maybe this one, and try to master that. The steps would be to find notes so they intonate right, because the difference between fretting with your finger and playing with a slide is that with the finger you have to press in the middle of the fret. But if you want to play the note that's on the 4th fret with a slide, you have to come right at the fret, so it's here. And just a little bit, a tip about the vibrato. The vibrato is not done by the slide or the hand. It's done by the whole elbow. So that's where the movement is. I have my thumb as an anchor here in the back, and then the movement is here. And the more relaxed you are in your shoulder and your biceps here, it's easier to vibrate. The emotions with the slide vibration can be like, let's say, Bob Brosman, a good buddy. He used to be very energetic when he played slide. So let's say he would play like this. Right? If you play fast vibration, fast vibrato, then you can move the slide more laterally, like a. So it's almost flying like a half an inch on each side. But the slowlier and moodier and with more and more feeling you play the slide, the lesser the movement needs to be. So from nothing so somewhere in between there. This is kind of a, I call it oily vibrato, where you can really, you don't start vibrating before you pick the note, but you come to it and vibrate like a. So that would be this part of a lick of the week. Tampa Red, fantastic musician, incredible human being. He was one of those people who was he was always so kind, and he and his wife always welcomed musicians who would come to Chicago and looking for gigs. So he would either help them with getting gigs or maybe even play with them to start with. And they were always welcome in his house. Big Bill Brunsey, Mighty Waters, lots of other artists. You can read on Wikipedia about Tampa Red. There's a fantastic documentation about him with discography and everything he did. So he's one of my greatest influences, especially when it comes to vibrato and this dynamic playing on the slide. All right. That was nice, but I think I'll need to catch up with the comments. Since this is my first live stream, I don't have anybody who would moderate the chat. And luckily enough, I see that we don't have any bots here, nobody spamming us. That looks great, really. All right. I see some people from the UK. Hi, Esme, nice to see you. Michael, I'm a part of a great network of YouTube content creators and very creative people at the Just Create More network. It's a fantastic collaboration, and I don't think I would ever start doing this if there wasn't for, first of all, Heather and Tom, who are here this evening to support me, and I'm really grateful, and I'm happy that you're here, guys. And I also see one more of you that I've been following for quite a long time now, Raphael. I'm looking forward to your course in Final Cut Pro. Yeah. Hi, Kat. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the great workshop that I went prior to this. And Kat is the one who taught me not to use too many filler words. So I'm working on it. I'm still not there. Thank you. All right, I have a good old friend from former Yugoslavia. He's now living in Canada. Hi, Bojan. Actually, he's an actor, so you can watch some of these, I guess, serials on Netflix, HBO. He's always there somewhere. All right, Jerry, nice to see you here. One of my oldest friends here in Sweden. Caleb, good to see you too. Right. Natasha, great to see you too. All right. Danny, great to see you as well. All right. Let's go on. I have this schedule, but it's like a, damn, time flies. Incredible. Already 40 minutes in. Damn. All right, I have this plan of doing some Q&A. If any questions arise, please put them with the Q and colon so that I can differentiate them from usual comments that I also appreciate very much. But just to make sure that I don't miss any of the questions, maybe related to the guitars, to the tunings and all that. So I would still love to show you this metal body guitar and to show the difference between the sounds and how they're composed as instruments, because it's a totally different physics in this guitar, which is oh yeah, I haven't told you that. If you see the logo here down in the corner, Sandén, or Sandén, which is called in Sweden. This is a handmade guitar by Michael Sandén, whom I've been cooperating with since, I think, 1995, 96. That's when I bought the first Sandén guitar, which is now with my daughter in London. She got it for me. So here we go. During these Blue Mondays, I'm gonna be playing this guitar a lot. Just a little bit. of theory behind the slides. Why slide? I explained that by telling you that slide can imitate the human voice. It can be very emotional, it can be energetic, and it's very close to violin. Violin is also an instrument that's very difficult to play, and I tell you, slide is easier, much easier. This is the glass slide, and it's made by a guy in Great Britain, in England. His name is Ian McVie, and he made this. This is hand-blown slides. These are real glass artists who blow these long tubes of slides that can be tailored to your finger, and depending on what you like, a thicker, maybe less thick walls in the slide. If you watch this one, it's the art of a great slide, because this lower part of the slide is a bit thinner in the walls, but if I show this part, it's thicker, which means that the part that's touching the string where I play the melody is thicker. It's going to give me more volume, and it's going to carry the note easier, better. The same concept on this slide, which is done of metal, messing, German brass. Yeah, messing is a Swedish word, that's right. It's the same kind of machinery, thinner here, thicker up here, and it's very heavy. I think I remember it was 268 grams when we were projecting this one, because this was made to be played on my baritone guitar, because I have very heavy strings on that one. That's also coming in one of the streams. So why glass, and why would I play glass slide in, let's say, an open tuning like this? The physics between open tuning and standard tuning are that the open tuning is then tuned to a D chord. In this case, they can be tuned to D, C, E, A, anything, but this is a D chord. So compared to the standard tuning, it's that the fourth and the fifth string are the same as in standard tuning, so they're D and A. But then we lower the first string, treble string, and the bass down to D. So what we get here is 3 D notes. When it's in tune. Okay, it's a little bit off. Then we get 2 A notes on the second string, and on the lower octave on the fifth string, and then we have 1/3, which is the third of that chord of D, which is here on the third string, and it's F sharp. Enough of the theory. I'm actually going to be preparing for you guys a page where you can follow every stream that I did, and I'm going to be putting some more instruction there with the recording of the live stream, or just embedded the same video as on YouTube. So you can maybe come back to it and see the, let's say, the scheme of, okay, this is standard tuning, this is D, how are they related? So anyway, the slide, if I take the glass slide and play you this. Sounds great, right? It's a wonderful tone, fantastic. But a glass slide on the guitar like this is fantastic and suitable for melodies on the first, maybe second, third string. It's great. But if you want to play chords, that's when the metal slide comes into play, because there's more mass to it. It's metal on metal. They talk to each other better, and you get this kind of, let's say, chord shape. if I take those two chords with a glass slide, a little bit less volume, a little bit less punch. So that's the main difference. And I would always have these two slides ready when I play live, and then I would just choose per song how or what I would do. So things about coming my way with this lick of the week for today. There's more ringing to these notes on the metal body guitar, because what you see here is just a regular guitar neck made out of wood, but inside of this guitar, I'm not sure there's an angle where you can actually see, but there are 3 cones inside here. They look like 3 plates turned upside down. And then there's this kind of spider leg going on top of each, in the middle of each plate. And then all of those 3 unite in one, which is actually the guitar saddle where the strings are coming, just like on a regular guitar. But then everything is ringing downwards into the body and then out through these holes here in front and even here. So if I would play this guitar live through a microphone, this is also good and practical tips. Then I would turn the microphone towards this part here, closer to the neck, if I wanted a little bit warmer sound. That's what I'm going to do now. So I'm coming a little bit closer to the microphones, which I have right in front of me, here, down here. And I'll play the, let's say, I'll play the same thing, but I'll just turn this part of the guitar to those microphones. I'm not sure how much of this is coming through a live stream, live stream, because there's compression of both audio and video over the internet coming all the way to you. So I'm not sure about that, but some of the things I think are quite audible and fine there. Good. Thank you, buddy. I'm happy to play that glass slide even more. It's a great one, definitely. Do you have any questions? Hit me with your questions. Don't, please, because I wouldn't know what to do with it. It's like, okay, here comes spam. What do I do? I can't just turn off this software. It's impossible. Yes, thank you. He's Jonas, or Jonas in Swedish, one of my guitar retreaters, one of the most faithful ones, and he's been with me for a long time, so he knows what I'm doing. And yeah, it's a clear difference. Thank you. I really like it. What do I do in open tunings? Maybe I can finish off the whole thing today with a little bit of explanation. Why am I in love with open tunings? Not for every song, of course, but this possibility to have an open chord and maybe several of the same notes in different grips makes it possible to get voicings which are so suitable for some of the songs. Let's say this one here. Here I'm deliberately looking for the octaves, so these are only note D, A, another A, D again, another D, and D. So I have all D's and one A note, and there's no third. That's why it doesn't sound like this. It's just this. So So every open tuning where you can take away the third goes from that major chord, which is so recognizable and so obvious as a chord, into something maybe different. And this, I'm using this chord in my version of Mercury Boogie or Mercury Blues. I think I'll have to back off because I'm going to play a little bit louder here. So this is a... and so on. So this is a way to combine these very ringing notes, and this doesn't sound as good on a regular acoustic guitar. Here it's ringing all over the place, and I do combine that with a clean major chord, which is like a buy me a Mercury, I'm gonna buy me a Mercury, and so on, right? So that's the difference. Also, it's amazing to play some gospel stuff in open tuning. So the D is, let's say, Ry Cooder, Joseph Spence, influence from those two, and the old tradition of playing hymns from the late 18th century and on, like a... So Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. You better call him up and tell him what you want. Yeah, so that's how I get emotional on the live stream. Great. That was Jesus on the Main Line, old song that many think is a traditional song. It's like, oh, that's an old religious hymn and nobody knows who wrote it. Actually, it's truth with a modification, as they say in Sweden. It's like, I think there are 3 or 4 people who wrote this together, and they could never really agree who wrote it. But we're enjoying the wonderful song, so that's it. Okay, open D or open G? Don't start me talking, Tommy. It's a great question. They're totally different, and I cannot talk about it without showing you. So, with the risk of this little guitar not being in tune right now at this moment, but I'll fix it. Right, open G. The difference, I'm sure you'll hear the open D. Whoa, now we come to the G. Actually, the chord G is the 4th chord if you play anything in D. So it's a bit higher pitch, of course, but it's a different relations between notes in open G. There are also 3 D notes. The first one, 1st string, 4th, and the 6th. But the main note, the root note of this G open tuning is on the 5th string here. In a standard tuning, the G chord would sound like this. But as an open chord, it's like this. Oh, Jonas, this is such a tough question. I kind of grew into liking open G a bit more because it gives me more headroom to play more different kinds of songs. In open G, you can play some, Robert Johnson-y, very heavy country blues stuff. It can be really like a... You can play some like Muddy Waters, like a... If we go back to Old Son House from the late 20s, that wrote this song first, and then Robert Johnson came, and then Muddy Waters did his version of Walking Blues. If any of you have watched Eric Clapton's MTV Unplugged from 1991, it's a classic recording and live concert where he played the Walking Blues. So Muddy Waters did this lick as intro. Well now, woke up this morning, feel around, right for my shoe. Lord, I must have heard them this old Walking Blue. Up this morning, look around, right for my shoe. What? Lord, I must have heard them. I had this old Walking Blues. And so on. So you can play very heavy stuff in open G. And the wonderful thing about this, it's that you have low like kind of notes like this, and then combined with also the root note, but on an octave higher or 2 octaves higher. So it's this great combination of that. Oh, as we were speaking about Tampa Red, maybe as we're approaching the hour, or we passed the hour, and I don't want to take too much of your time, and you can always come back to whatever I played here and listen to it afterwards, and maybe play along. That would be great. So Tampa Red wrote this song called You Gotta Love Her With a Feeling. And this was composed in the 40s with the assumption of man always loving a woman. We've come further than that, but the song goes like this. Now when you love a woman, you love her with a thrill. 'Cause if you don't, some other man will. You got to love her with a feeling. You got to love her with a feeling. You got to love her with a feeling. Don't you love it all? Now the copper brought her in. She didn't need no bail. She shook it for the judge and they put those cops in jail because she shook it with a feeling. She shook it with a feeling. She shook it with a feeling. Don't you shake it all? When you love a woman, you love her with a thrill. 'Cause if you don't, I'll tell you, some other man will. You got to love her with a feeling. You got to love her with a feeling. You got to love her with a feeling. Don't you love it all? All right, you gotta love her with a feeling, or love him with a feeling. Doesn't matter. Thanks so much for coming. It's been a blast. My first ever live stream. It's amazing to see so many show up. And you're welcome to see the replay, of course. And I'll be back next Monday, definitely. Let me just see. All right. Thank you. Also one of my retreaters and my oldest friends here in Sweden. Wonderful guy. Matsan, that's my old nickname from my home country of Yugoslavia, which doesn't exist anymore. So I've been living in Sweden for 30 years and still haven't got used to say Serbia, that I'm coming from Serbia, because I didn't come from there. I come from, before the Civil War and all that happened. All right, so now I have to say I prefer open G. This Monday, this evening, I prefer open G. Well, thank you so much. I'm an eternal student of this. I'll never learn enough about blues and how to play it, and it's so different. Some days you just can't play it. You need to be in a mood. But on the contrary from what many people say, oh, you need to be blue to play the blues. You need to be sad to play the blues. No. If you watch the whole blues history, and if you watch all the songs that were released, if you watch And if you listen carefully to the lyrics, there's always this a bite of hope. Even if the song is sad, there's always this hope. There's always a solution offered. And especially a lot of blues is also a very happy rhythmical stuff, but it's still blues, like this. I'll be actually explaining this song next week. So let me give you a teaser. It goes like this. Wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low. Wake up, mama, turn your lamp down low. Have you got the nerve to drive the bobo from the door? My mama down and left me reckless, Danny down and left me wild. My mama down and left me reckless, Danny down and left me wild. But I'm not good looking, but I'm someone's angel child. And there's much more to come from this song. It's a great melody. It's a great lyrics. It's a bit outside this route of 12-bar blues, and there's a great slide solo. So this is coming next week on the Blue Monday with Homesick Mac. So you're more than welcome then. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I could really play all evening, but let's keep it short and tidy, and let me leave before you kick me out. You think I'm boring. Thanks so much for coming. I'll be more than happy to see you next week. Again, spread the news, tell your friends, whoever is playing the guitar. I'm actually aiming at people who are playing the guitar, not to guitarists. The pros can learn their chops. They have all the hours of the day to play, and they will, of course, become great. But we muggles, we people who have, I had this opportunity to develop as a musician in the mid-80s, late 90s, a little later on. I had this career of like 25 years of very easy to get gigs, either by myself or through various agencies or whatever. So it's like, how do we become good? By playing a lot. But I have tips that I've developed during these more than 25 years of teaching, where I can help somebody who doesn't have too much time during the day. And I have this saying that like 20 minutes a day, but 20 minutes every day will get you to your next level. Definitely. If you wait for the Saturday to play, like, oh, this weekend I'm going to sit down and play for 7 hours. Yeah, great. Your fingers are going to be sore. You're going to be playing, but after maybe 2 hours, you're going to lose your concentration, and it's not that. What's the point? So the goal with these live streams is also to inspire people to play the guitar more than they do, to maybe learn a little bit of slide guitar, to maybe put some light on this old and almost forgotten blues, acoustic blues from the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, and that's where my interest stops, basically. So I'm stuck in that period, 20s to 50s. Good. All right. Every Monday will be a Blue Monday from now. Thanks you so much, Tommy. That's very nice to hear. And I'd love to see you all guys next time. All right. I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for coming. And have a rest of the great day. It's evening here in Sweden. It's 10:13 p.m. And I know for some of you it's mid of the day, and it's like 9 hours behind me, people in Canada. So thanks for coming, and have a great one. I'll see you next week. Bye.